Today, we will be defining audio content for conversational AI with my friend Ron Jaworski of Trinity Audio. Ron, a passionate voice and audio enthusiast, serves as the CEO of Trinity Audio, the only unified audio platform that advances owners of content to strategically evolve to deliver audio experiences. Trinity Audio unites Ron's passion for audio and people with a service that benefits all. The company is poised to be the biggest audio library in the world. Welcome to the show, Ron.
Thanks for having me.
You kind of designed the title of this episode. I had a different one, but I think that yours is very valid, is what is audio content in conversational AI? So take it away, Ron.
I think that audio AI is going to be one of the most basic fundamental of content in basically everywhere. And we talk a lot about it, about the revolution of audio and the revolution of voice and things like that. And I think one of the biggest change in regards to content and specifically audio content is the fact that we are basically now at the time where synthesized voice, text-to-speech or whatnot, generating a high-end quality audio files from a textual asset, and the quality and the NLP processes are just getting improved more and more and more. So we are entering an era where any type of content can be consumed using audio AI, and due to the fact that it's super simple to produce it and super simple to distribute it, it will become, I would say, a commodity and norm for any kind of content creators to have the option to consume their content via audio AI. So I think this is what Trinity Audio is trying to do in that landscape. It starts from, of course, media companies and publication with the obvious, like, consuming article using an audio format, but it's going to be anywhere. I believe that 5 years from now and 10 years from now, you will be able to consume an audio version of any textual document, any textual content, and it will be read out to you using AI. And of course, it will be definitely 5 years from now, much, much, much better than it is right now. Although I must say that even today, it's quite humane. It will just get more improved. And I don't want to reveal what we are doing in our behind the scenes, but we are working on experiences that will make everything like, you won't be sure if you are listening to a podcast or from a machine.
Let's backtrack for just a second and let's introduce Trinity Audio. For those of you that are not familiar with it, Ron's company has been popping up everywhere. So Ron, why don't you go ahead and explain what it is that you're working on?
Perfect. So basically what we do is that we create a user experience, audio user experience for content creators, textual content creators. 4 years ago, I was reading an article, going down the elevator, got into my car and said to myself, I need to find a solution that will read out the article for me, simply. And this is what I tried to find. And I didn't find a solution that was easy to use. And again, text-to-speech solutions were available anywhere. Basically, text-to-speech technology is something that is with us for the past 20 years. In the last few years, it sounds not like Stephen Hawking. It sounds more humane, which is great for everybody that's listening. I apologize for not being completely PC. In any case, I want to find an easy way to create a simple solution for any content creators to basically to use a JavaScript to turn on any kind of content that he has from text to audio. And this is basically what we built. And at the beginning, the basic building block was, as I said, JavaScript embedded on your website. This is it. You have a small player, press play, you listen to the article. And then we understood that this is just the basic building block. You need to create a content management system, a CMS basically. You need to create a distribution channels because you want to have the option to mix and match the content, create different playlists, create different players and embed it in different places. Because, for example, how do you create an audio experience within a homepage of a newspaper or a brand site company, or whatever? You need to have a specific designated player that is connected to a specific content that will be published on the website homepage. And what about distribution? Because it doesn't end here. What about Spotify and Google Podcasts? And what about smart speakers? And you need to have everything in one place, one platform where you can basically integrate one JavaScript and have all of this come to life in a split of a second. And this is basically what Trinity Audio is all about. Today, when you use our solution, you get, of course, turn the text into audio, the identification of, we have the algorithm that identifies the textual part of an article and understand what to turn into audio, the management system, where you can play with the audio content we create for you as a content creator, or upload any kind of content that you want, create playlists, distribute it to all those different platforms, whether it's Spotify, Google Podcast, and so on. This is what we are doing right now, where we started. And where we are aiming is, of course, to add to all of that a voice capability, to have a conversation with the content, because just a few anecdotes. In many cases, it doesn't really matter if we listen or read, we don't really remember what we read or what we listened to. The best way to do that, there are actually two ways. One of them, if we're talking about listening, of course, is to highlight the text. And then if you create a reading experience with the listening experience, it improves the memory significantly, the memory of the text, of course. Another thing is to ask questions about the text itself. So, for example, if you are listening for, let's say, professional content, okay, because I'm not sure that for every article in the New York Times you will want to have been asked about what it's about. But for professional content, okay, my guess is that me and you, we are reading the same blogs, whether it's on marketing, on voice, or whatnot. And we read it, and most likely 10 minutes later, if somebody will ask me about it, I wouldn't remember the highlights, okay? Maybe 1 or 2 points, and I'm giving myself credit right now. So ask questions about the text, and how do you analyze the question? First of all, you need a voice capability, of course, to ask the question for the input and output, but you need to have an analysis on the text itself to create the relevant questions, and of course, to understand the highlights. So this is an example of something that we work on. How about, this is actually another thing that we just released, and we had an amazing experience on the advertising side of things. Actually, what we created with the great folks on McClatchy Media Group is we launched our solution on McClatchy more than a year ago on all of their 30 website, and we tried to find a way, because we also monetize, we help them to monetize, to advertise, on top of that content. And we try to find a way to create a better user experience for the user that is listening to the article and needs to listen to the ad as well. Because now the experience is, they're listening to the article in an AI voice, and then you move to an audio ad, which in most cases is a radio kind of, go to Walmart right now for $24.99, buy the new barbecue, whatever. And this is not, I would say, a great user experience. And we wanted to create something that is similar to podcast, where you have the podcaster, which is basically reading out any kind of material that is relevant to the podcast itself, or having a conversation with someone on the podcast. We also have breaks within the podcast to talk about, the sponsor that he brought, and he usually do it in the beginning of the podcast, and that's a little bit more in the middle. And this is what we do. We actually use the AI to take the textual content of the advertising, the messaging of the advertiser, create different types of ads, and insert it in different parts within the article to create the podcast kind of feeling. And now you have an AI read of the article and the advertiser itself, and you got that feeling. Now we're gonna take it, and I'm not going to reveal, but a few level higher in next year in regards to the experience in general, to create a more human-like, podcast-like feeling when you are listening to the article.
I hope you're enjoying the show. For more on sound and marketing, check out soundandmarketing.com. This is where I house all the good stuff, like articles that I reference, media that I'm a part of, courses on sound's power and influence in marketing, and pretty much everything else that has to do with sound in marketing. For sound strategy and sonic branding creation, my company, Dreamr Productions, would love to chat with you. Check out the end of the episode for contact information, or check out the show notes from this episode. We would love to help you make sound on purpose. Now back to the show. I understand that you want like kind of a podcast, almost podcast experience through this player. So you're reading an article on Forbes, and then there's an ad for Home Depot that if you're looking at it visually, this is what I'm understanding what you're saying. If you're looking at it visually, minus the audio and all that stuff, so you've got the words for the Forbes article, and then there's a pop-up banner ad for Home Depot. Are you saying that with your player, you've got the actual speech of the words, and then in the middle, there would be an audio clip of that Home Depot banner ad?
No, so it's not necessarily need to be in correlation to the ad within the article itself, the images or the videos within the article itself, but it's more of the experience today is that if I press play on one of our players, there is a chance that you will listen to an audio ad that can be, again, as same as in radio, and then you will be moved into to consume the content that you want to consume, the article, the news article, sports article, whatever. What we are trying to do is actually to take those advertisers that do advertise on digital audio and deliver their message in the same manner that they are doing it on radio, to change it, because now you are within an AI streaming audio experience. So create the same experience. Like if you are now advertising within a podcast, let's say Walmart is advertising within a podcast, probably the podcast will talk about the new the new offering that Walmart have, or a new branch, or whatnot. And it will be done in the voice of the podcaster. So why not do the same in regards to digital audio? Why just take, an radio ad and put it within an audio AI stream? Let's improve this experience and do it the same way as podcast. We'll do the AI that will read out the message.
So it would sound like a host read ad.
Exactly.
Basically.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
And also, like, my interpretation of this is that this would be another advertising outlet on the same screen. So you'd have those banner ads and such, but you also have an opportunity to advertise. Like, maybe you don't want the banner ad, then you could get in on the audio of it. So there's just more opportunity on this one page to pack, quote unquote, pack it with ads without being spammy per se. Because I do know that the banner ads can get crazy, like especially if you go onto a recipe site. Oh my goodness, those drive me insane.
Yes.
I can't find that jump to recipe button fast enough. So
I agree.
But this,
I agree.
I would see this as like a more tidy form of advertising, maybe. And with the host read, I agree with you. Host read, I can't remember the statistic offhand, but I know we both know it, that host read ads generate generate sales more likely than non-host read ads.
First of all, I think that banner, whether interrupting or not, I don't think it gives a great indication for the advertiser if there was any engagement with the ad itself, because most of the clicks are false clicks. And in many cases, when I'm listening to the ad, there is a good chance my eyes are not on my mobile phone or on my laptop or whatnot. So this is the first thing. The second thing, I would say that it's basically native audio advertising. How can you create native audio advertising? So we do know how we do it in podcasting. Basically, the podcaster is reading out the ad. How do you do it on all those other streaming? So if I can read it out in the same voice as audio AI content, and I can, so why not do that? And then I give the user the best experience I can share. And I will share an example. When you launch the podcast, I will share a demo of how it was used in our last campaign.
That would be great. I'll attach it to the social and all of that. That would be great.
Okay.
I wanted to ask some more questions about this. So this is something that you are implementing now, or this is coming forward in this study that you're doing right now?
No, so we actually launched the campaign last month. We actually it ran throughout, actually more than a month, throughout September. It was quite successful, and it was the first campaign ever. We had a few tests prior to that, but that was like a full-blown campaign running on 30 different websites, on millions of impressions, and had by the way, he had a component of both a display theme on top of our player in the advertiser brand. And then when you press on play, you will have the sponsorship ad, audio AI read. The results were amazing. And now we are looking for more relevant brands to use. Basically, it's a new advertising format. This is the reason why I'm so excited about it, because we had this thought for the past 2 years. But like in everything new, you need to find that first one that is willing, to jump into the water with you and say, okay, you're crazy, but you have something in what you are saying. And now we need to, and it was on both sides. It was McClatchy on the publishing side, and we had the advertisers on the other side, and we found them both, and we created it, and everybody's happy right now. So now it's time to get the rumor out, and it was actually published in DigiDay last week. So we are super excited about it. It doesn't happen a lot when you can create new advertising formats.
No, this is very exciting, and I think the thing that I really like about this, and I feel like I started talking about this on the podcast like a year or two ago, but it wasn't an option, or I wasn't aware of it. Exactly what you were talking about, how you're reading an article, then you have to get into the car, and gee, wouldn't it be nice if, like my example was, wouldn't it be nice if I could read some of these articles while I'm carting my kids around to school or going to the grocery store? Like, I have stuff I got to do. I can't just sit and read all day. So something like this could really speed up my workflow exponentially for sure. And then the idea of, we're getting out, we kind of talked about this before we recorded, but COVID and getting out more and traveling more and doing all of these things, I think all of us want a break from the screens, the monitors. And this is just an absolute perfect time to really explore something. Because for my husband, he's video production, and you have transcription of audio to video. It would make sense that the option of, the textual based could transcribe to audio. Like, that's there. It's just that people weren't thinking of it in that direction yet. So those are just thoughts in my head.
Look, first of all, I agree with you 100%. And I think that at the end of the day, everybody is first of all, on one hand, we are as users, listeners, readers, whatnot, we always looking to consume new content or even old content, doesn't really matter. And we don't have more time throughout the day. And I think this is where audio come in and with a great fit, because when my eyes are busy, audio is a great solution for me to consume the content that I love. And I think it's, it can be about just news articles. It can be about professional content. It can be about hobbies or interests or sports or whatnot. It's relevant anywhere. And this is on the listener side, on the reader side. On the other hand, there are amazing content creators that invest time and money in creating great textual content. And on the other side, there are people that want to consume it but don't have much time. So our solution, make this gap obsolete, because then you say, now I have the time. Because in many cases, I say it a lot, and I hear other people saying it as audio stands for new time throughout the day. This is what, at least for me, audio stands for new time throughout the day. Now I have the option to consume the content that I love. Now I can engage with content that is relevant for me. And it doesn't really matter if you are in the voice and audio space like us, or you are a lawyer that need to, or an accountant that need to know about some new regulation or whatnot. We all have a lot of content that we need to consume, but we have only 24 hours throughout the day. If I can consume some of this content in an audio when I'm driving, commuting with my kids, cooking or whatnot, that's a great solution.
Tune in next week for the conclusion to our conversation. And don't forget to subscribe on all the major podcast channels. Share with friends, follow, and rate. Spread the word because, well, more people should know about this stuff. I know you know that now. For those of you wanting more information on how sonic branding and sound marketing can be utilized within your brand, my company, Dreamr Productions, would love to help you out. We create, consult, and help strategize on how sound can be a more active presence in your marketing. We help you make sound on purpose. For inquiries, go to dreamrproductions.com. That's DREAMR Productions.com, and send us a message. You can also find me, Jeanna Isham, on LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook. All links will be provided in the show notes. Let's make this world of sound more intriguing, more unique, and more on brand.